Welcome back, Global Health students, to our Module 2 presentation. Thus far, we focused on the importance of economic globalization and its impact on demographic issues and vice versa, and their impact on infectious diseases impact on demographic issues, infectious diseases on economic globalization, and then our fourth driver we highlighted was water, and we emphasized the impact water has on infectious diseases, economic globalization, and demographic issues, and vice versa. Water is directly related to infectious diseases because water is how so many infectious diseases are spread. It's also related to demographic issues because people have to move because of too much or too little water, like the floods we've had in the past 2 years. And it's the biggest limit on continued economic growth around the world. Our next driver that we're going to focus on in this Module 2 presentation is environmental degradation. We have divided our environmental degradation into 4 sub-issues: air pollution, oceanic pollution, rainforest deconstruction, and light pollution. Indoor air pollution is a huge issue, and I know because of living in Southeast Asia, where in so many homes the live fire cooking stoves are within the home. And I remember in Nepal in particular walking into many of the homes of the Nepalese families that we met, and you literally could not see because the smoke was so thick within their small cave-like homes. It was just incredibly dangerous. 3 billion people around the world cook and heat with wood, dung, cow dung, and or coal. And nearly 2 million premature deaths are associated with indoor air pollution. Nearly 50% of pneumonic deaths of children younger than 5, and greater than 1 million people per year die from COPD. Let's also look at outdoor air pollution, which is a significant challenge. Fine particulate matter is the worst. Particulate matter is also known as a particle pollution, or capital P, capital M, is a complex mixture of extremely tiny small particles and liquid droplets. Particle pollution is made up of a number of components, including acids, such as nitrates and sulfates, organic chemicals, metals, and soil or dust particles. Fine particles with a diameter of 2.5 micrometers or less, which is also known as capital P, capital M, sub number 2.5. That is a fine particulate matter. The average human hair is about 70 micrometers in diameter, making it 30 times larger than the largest fine particle. Particle pollution contains microscopic solids or liquid droplets that are so small they can get deep into our lungs and cause serious health problems. The size of particles is directly linked to their potential for causing health problems. Small particles less than 10 micrometers in diameter pose the greatest problems because they can get way deep into your lungs, and some even get into your bloodstream. I've tried to share this graphic with you to give you a visual image of how small some of these particulate matters components are. Fine particulate matter is responsible for lung cancer, cardiopulmonary and respiratory infections, 9% of lung cancer deaths, 5% of cardiopulmonary deaths, and 1% of respiratory infection-related deaths. Another form of environmental degradation is oceanic pollution that we'll get to in just a moment. I'm going to break. Oh no, I'm sorry. Oceanic pollution. Who can tell me what this photo captures. And where is it? Take a look at it. What are those structures in the lower left-hand corner? Does anyone have an idea? You can stop the presentation and take a look. I found this photo once again in National Geographic, where I find many of my photos. This photo captures more than 10,000 what? Shark fins drying in the sun in Hong Kong. Each fin was originally attached to a live shark. This is one of the consequences of the rapid growth of the middle class. Remember we talked about the middle class, the growing middle class? These folks want to have shark fin soup even when it's not New Year's Day. It's a specialty in many Chinese families on New Year's Day. In the past, this was an expensive delicacy for a small percentage of Chinese to enjoy on New Year's Day. Now, more and more Chinese want shark fin soup whenever they want it because they're middle class and they've got the funds to pay for it. Shark fin overexploitation is a significant issue under environmental degradation. Now we're looking at, in 2012, fisheries produced 136 million tons of food. This was a record. An average of 18.4 kilograms or 40 pounds per person of fish. 15% of all animal protein intake is for 4.3 billion people. And of all the fish species monitored by the FAO, which is the Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations, 30% are overexploited, 57% are fully exploited, and 13% are non-fully exploited. Now let's discuss our coastal dead zones. Have you ever heard of this term, coastal dead zones? What is a dead zone? Take a look at this map and look at the various colors. A dead zone is a more common term for hypoxia, which refers to a reduced level of oxygen in the water. Hypoxic zones are areas in the ocean of such low oxygen concentration that animal life suffocates and dies. And as a result, these areas become known as dead zones. Dead zones are areas in the world's oceans and large lakes. And these dead zones are caused by excessive nutrient pollution from human activities, coupled with other factors that deplete the oxygen required to support most marine life in bottom and not near bottom waters. And this is from NOAA, once again. And this is a new measurement that we've recently started measuring for dead zones. Reefs, coastal reefs, are also impacted by environmental degradation. Reefs are particularly important because this is where fish breed. They breed within the reefs. The major threats include 1, overexploitation, 2, coastal development, 3, inland pollution, and 4, marine-based pollution. And you can see that in the middle of this graphic, major threats to reefs. The categories listed on the left are the major factors causing deterioration. And if we look at the colors, the blue is the impact of tourism, green from poison fishing, the light green overexploitation, the brown from sediments, the orange from coral harvesting, yellow from fishing using dynamite, and the red is from pollution. Another form of environmental degradation is rainforest destruction. This pertains primarily to logging and agricultural expansion, which results in a reduced carbon dioxide or CO2 levels, biodiversity, and also our increased proximity to animal species, which, as we've learned already in this presentation, brings new diseases to the human population. Here we can see where our forests are located on the map. The dark green indicate the forests, the light green, the other wooded land. We're most concerned with the equatorial rainforests located along the equator, the flora and fauna. So you can see water, which is the blue, just general land is the beige, and then the two green areas. This is where our significant, huge forests are located on the map. As you can see from this graphic on the map, we're doing really badly in the Amazon and in Indonesia. You can see the dark red color indicates the decreases per year, and the dark green indicates increases per year. And we don't have any information on the Congo in Africa due to the significant war and conflict there. They just don't even collect the data. Borneo, Sumatra, and Guinea are going the wrong way, and they're in red, as you can see on the map. But surprisingly, China is doing really well here. Look at all the green on the coast of China, on the east side of China. They're doing really well. They're bringing back forests. And these are two articles I found, once again, in the media. Both Brazil and Indonesia are asking us, basically the entire world, for compensation for preserving their forests. This is the title of the slide, Preserving Carbon Sinks. They want to be compensated for preserving their forests. Why should they not benefit from their own resources? This is a really significant public policy issue that needs to be addressed on a global scale. It's a big issue for climate change that matters for global public health. And we need to partner together with other countries to identify how we can preserve our world's lungs. These are our big forests. How can we work together? Because Brazil and Indonesia, they want to cut down their forests and reap all the benefits from the money from these resources. They don't want to preserve the forests. Why do they have to be the ones to preserve the forests when we, the United States, and so many other countries are made so much money off cutting down all our trees? Why did they have to wait? They want to be compensated. They want to be preserved. They want to be compensated for preserving carbon sinks. Another newly coined issue is light pollution. The American Medical Association, AMA, has recently identified light pollution as an emerging public health issue and has convened a panel to investigate light pollution. It was originally identified as being linked to breast cancer. It doubled the rate of breast cancer of women who worked the night shift at a factory, since the artificial light from the factory inhibited the production of melatonin in the women. Very interesting. To summarize this section of our presentation, we can see that air pollution, oceanic pollution, the destruction of our rainforests, and light pollution are the major forms of environmental degradation impacting global public health. So back to our rubric again. Economic globalization in the center is a primary cause of environmental degradation, as we've learned from this one section, which also is negatively impacted by a growing world population, resulting in a huge increase in respiratory infections and a degradation of our water resources. Climate change is the next driver we're going to explore. And we'll stop the presentation here to focus on climate change.